Nigeria Executive Council approves 47.9 trillion naira budget estimates set to transmit to National Assembly for consideration and passage.
They are now turning to something that we need to address, and we will address it.
Military, security, intelligence agencies upscale internal security operations, combat Lakorawa group in parts of Sokoto and Kebbi states.
I appreciate the sacrifice from you. The President appreciates the sacrifice you made, but please, we have to do more.
NNPC Limited partners revive crude oil gas production to 1.8 million barrels per day. Hello, I am Ogoch Kuka-Ona, and you're welcome to the news at 11 on Nta News24. The Federal Executive Council has approved a budget estimate of 47.9 trillion naira set to be transmitted to the National Assembly for consideration and passage. At its meeting this Thursday, the Council also approved figures for the 2025 medium-term expenditure framework. State House correspondent Musbao Dan Wahab reports.
The 13th meeting of the Federal Executive Council is eventually holding after its earlier postponement in honor of the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja, who passed on. But then, there are some national issues that cannot wait any longer. It is barely 7 weeks to the end of the year. So, consideration and preparation for the next fiscal year topped the agenda of the meeting.
Good afternoon, gentlemen of the press.
After deliberations, Information and National Orientation Minister Mohammed Idris led the relevant ministers to brief on the outcomes as the Council reviewed implementation of the 2024 budget and reported a promising progress in revenue collection. And banking on the positive growth in 2 consecutive quarters of the outgoing year, the Council expresses satisfaction with the economic recovery, believing that the worst situation has passed.
Nigeria's economy has turned in the right direction, achieving a positive growth rate in 2 quarters continuously, significantly, with the growth rate of 3.19%. in real terms in the second quarter of 2024.
There is now hope for a much stronger economy in 2025, and in preparation for that is a 47.9 trillion naira budget estimate to further tackle inflation, strengthen economic resilience, support the vulnerable, and build fiscal buffers.
Parameters for the 2025-2027 medium-term fiscal framework, which include an oil price benchmark of $75 a barrel for 2025, oil production of 2.06 million barrels a day, as well as an exchange rate of 1,400 naira to a dollar, and GDP growth of 4.6%. It is expected that for 2025, the federal government's budget estimate is the aggregate expenditure is estimated at 47 trillion, and this includes a borrowing of 13.8 trillion, which is 3.87% of the estimated GDP.
The chances of meeting up with the January to December budget cycle are almost looking very slim, but the executive says it relies on its healthy relationship with the National Assembly, as well as the groundwork already done to get the budget passed and keep to the tradition. Meanwhile, Ministry of Finance secured 2 approvals, one of which is a 250 billion naira real estate investment funding to check the housing deficit in the country through a low-cost, long-term housing scheme.
It opens up the whole mortgage sector. It relieves Nigerians who normally will be faced with almost 30% interest rates, and they will be faced with tenors of 2, 3, 4 years within which they have to pay back. Now they will have rates closer to 10%. Now they will have tenors over 20 years. And that will be a tremendous relief, and it's a promise kept by His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
From the State House, Musbah and Wahab, Nta News.
The National Assembly is on course to facilitate the creation of $1 trillion economy for Nigeria, in tune with the aspiration of President Bola Tinubu. As part of this effort, Senate is working on a legislation to repeal and reenact the Investment and Securities Bill as a key pillar in the investment space. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
Gathered here are technocrats, operators, regulators, and other participants from the investment, securities, and commodities ecosystem. They want to be part of history as the Senate Committee on Capital Markets repeals and reenacts the 17-year-old Investment and Securities Act.
Fintech has caused a lot of disruptions in the capital market in recent years, such that digital asset platforms are fast gaining ground as a critical aspect of the capital market ecosystem. The creation of $1 trillion economy requires a vibrant Nigerian capital market to provide the needed liquidity.
We are taking a bold step towards modernizing our financial markets, fostering transparency and enhancing investor confidence.
Reviewed fairness of mergers and acquisitions of public companies, and prevent and sanction unauthorized and illegal dealings in securities and investment schemes, alongside the provisions that speak to the new wave of fintech institutions within the fintech space.
While participants at the public hearing highlighted benefits of the proposed legislation, some suggested changes in some sections.
It was important to deal with certain critical issues in the capital market that usually leads to collapse of the market. One of them is the issue of netting and set-off and a modification of the general insolvency rule.
Issues relating to takeovers, mergers, corporate restructuring. Under BOFIA 2020, Central Bank has been given powers on those issues as far as banks and other financial institutions are concerned.
Most of the money that we are talking here belong to Nigerians, for which government is begging to use for development resources. If we give government power as person who goes there to borrow, where is the independence of this institution?
What offenses are specific to the capital market and which falls within the purview of the Investment and Securities Tribunal? We need to define that.
The aggregate of all inputs, the committee assures, will be scrutinized and considered on merit. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, Nta News.
The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited and its partners have revived crude oil and gas production to 1.8 million barrels per day and 7.4 standard cubic feet per day of gas. This was announced at a press briefing in Abuja, with key players saying the feat was achieved in compliance with the mandate of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Lydia Sampson has details.
Team was inaugurated on the 25th of June 2024. Then, production was at 1.4 million barrels per day. The theme swung into action, sustaining the production recovery to 1.7 million barrels per day in August and hitting the current 1.8 million barrels in November. The interventions that led to the recovery of production cuts across every segment of the production chain, with security agencies closely monitoring the pipelines. Group Chief Executive Officer Mele Kyari had, while speaking on the development, applauded the production war room team members for anchoring the production recovery process.
It is possible to achieve the high production, and with all the help and support that we have across board, from the Minister to Mr. President to the government security agencies, we have a line of sight of what progress means and will achieve progress.
Representatives of Production War Room team provided insights on how the feat was achieved.
We believe this industry is an enabler for the entire country and also for the world, and therefore, with the clear push, we're able to now get to 1.8. And really, we can see clear line of sight, we're getting to 2 million barrels. If you look at it from NNPC perspective, we're actually doing 84% of NNPC production. That was unprecedented.
Chairman NNPC Limited Board of Directors, Pius Akinyeleru, and Minister of State Petroleum Resources Oil, Henike Lopobiri, charged the company's management to come up with a cash flow projection based on the new production figures to facilitate planning. They expressed satisfaction with the performance of the theme and pledged the federal government support for the company to do more.
I'm particularly happy because everybody is yearning to be at this level. We know the economic impact it will generate into our income.
This didn't come without some sacrifice from you, and Nigeria appreciates the sacrifice from you. The president appreciates the sacrifice you made, but please, we have to do more.
They are optimistic that increasing production to 2 million barrels per day by the end of the year is a reality. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, Nta News.
The House of Representatives has queried alleged selective disbursement of 90 billion naira federal government subsidy to pilgrims for the 2024 Hajj exercise. At an investigative hearing by an ad hoc committee of the House, lawmakers urged the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria to furnish Parliament with detailed expenditure of the Hajj subsidies for pilgrims. There were submissions for development of standard operational practice for all operators in the Hajj management chain to serve as model for future Hajj operations.
You are given subsidies at will because you have been given the authority. No, sir. Can government give you money to give Nigerians subsidy because of certain hiccups that happen, and then you exclude others?
We never excluded them.
Yes.
That's not the arrangement, sir. They are just, we had a meeting based on the timeline.
You had a meeting and you agreed. I am not arguing with you. We are just trying to have an understanding so that this thing will not repeat itself.
Everybody that fall within that timeline, they enjoy the subsidy.
Who gives the money for the subsidy?
The federal government.
Did the federal government tell you what to do with it? He said, give it to Nigerians.
We get it to Nigerians,
excuse me, no. You are selective.
No, sir.
And now talking security matters. The military, security and intelligence agencies have upskilled internal security operations to combat the Lakurawa group in parts of Sokoto and Kebbi states. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports that the coordinator, National Counter-Terrorism Center, Office of the National Security Advisor, Major General Adamu Garba Laka, stated this at a news conference in Abuja.
In 2018, communities in Ilela and Gudu in Sokoto State allegedly invited the Lakura group, whose origin has been traced to Niger, Mali and Burkina Faso, to assist in the fight against banditry.
The Lakurawas are basically from Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso. Initially, they came in with the aim of providing security against the bandits in some of these communities. However, they are now turning to something that we need to address, and we will address it.
So far, the group has displaced communities, killed and looted properties. To combat this threat, interagency cooperation has been intensified, joint security operations upskilled, while emphasis on technology to monitor and gather intelligence.
We are implementing heightened security protocols in high-risk areas and advanced technology to monitor, gather and analyze intelligence. Increase joint operations between the military and other security forces. We have also maintained close ties with our allies to ensure that we stay ahead of those who seek to harm us.
Regional efforts strengthening partnership with Niger, Chad and Mali to develop a unified response to the insurgent threats across borders, while the media has been enjoined to be patriotic in their reportage, devoid of glorifying the criminals. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
President Bola Tinubu has approved the appointment of 3 Nigerians as directors general of various agencies and 1 special advisor on public communications and media. The new appointees, in a statement by the special advisor to the president on information and strategy, Bayo Nanuga, are Olawale Olokbade, Director General, National Sports Commission; Dr. Abisoye Fagade, Director General, National Institute for Hospitality and Tourism; Dr. Adebowale Adedokun, Director General, Bureau of Public Procurement; Daniel Bala, Special Advisor, Media and Public Communications, State House; Olokbade, the new Director General of the National Sports Commission, is a sports administrator with many years of experience in the sector. He served as Commissioner of Youth and Sports in Ogun State and was chairman of the local organizing committee of the 2024 National Sports Festival. The new Director General of the National Institute for Hospitality and Tourism, Dr. Abisoye Fagade, is a marketing communication professional. He is the founder and managing director of Sodium Brand Solutions. Adedokun, the new healthman of the Bureau of Public Procurement, was the Director of Research, Training and Strategic Planning at the Bureau before his appointment. The Special Advisor on Public Communications and Media, Dr. Daniel Bala, is a lawyer and notable public affairs analyst. The President enjoins the newly appointed officers to discharge their duties with dedication, patriotism, and excellence. You're watching the news at 11 on Nta News 24. More reports after the break. A 5-year project tagged Livestock Disease Surveillance Knowledge Integration, LIDISKI, is developing a sustainable national animal disease surveillance and reporting platform to safeguard livestock health, protect food security, and prevent the spread of zoonotic diseases in Nigeria. This is as the team holds a closeout meeting in Abuja to present its findings in the pilot states used to complete the projects. Tokpe Alabi reports.
Nigeria has the largest small ruminant herd in Africa, followed by Sudan, Chad, Ethiopia, and Kenya, with 73.8 million goats and 42.1 million sheep, mainly indigenous breeds, contributing about $500 million annually to GDP. But the petit ruminants (PPR) is a major constraint to the productivity of small ruminants in Nigeria, a highly contagious viral disease causing the death of millions of sheep and goats annually. This livestock disease surveillance knowledge integration, the LIDISKI project, was launched in 2019 with a coalition of 5 partners with the support of the European Union to improve surveillance and control of small ruminants and Newcastle diseases across Nigeria, using Plateau, Bauchi, and Kano states as a pilot phase.
While this project marks an important milestone, we acknowledge that our journey is far from over. The path ahead calls for continued collaboration.
The project has therefore expanded surveillance and early
disease detection systems by also developing 31 new tools that our young scientists and field workers can use.
I have a strong conviction that the results of the DISCI project will enhance Nigeria's progress in eradicating PPL.
With over 500 villages and smallholder farmers across the 3 states distributing more than 10 million doses of vaccine, verifiable data is now available across the 66 local government areas captured.
Sometimes we get something difficult, but now there's no any problem.
We are able to take care of our livestock and then know when they are okay and when they are not.
We have good evidence on how to drive disease control from a preventive perspective. We need to scale this up.
We went to see the smallholders, and they did indeed say after the end of the project they improved their livelihood thanks to the actions of the project.
With the DISCI project laying the foundation for a robust future surveillance and disease management, upscaling these actionable solutions, experts believe will enhance value addition in the production of livestock in Nigeria. In Abuja, Tope Alabi, Nta News.
And as the global community marks World Diabetes Day, raising awareness about the physical and mental health of people living with diabetes is considered crucial. To this end, the Diabetes Help and Enlightenment Organization, in collaboration with the Network for Persons Living with Diabetes, conducted a sensitization and fitness exercise.
Diabetes, according to research, is being considered one of the deadliest diseases, attracting concerns at both governmental and international organizational levels. To help in combating this, Aisha Bukar Ali, founder and coordinator of the Diabetes Help and Enlightenment Organization, a non-governmental organization, joined the rest of the world in marking World Diabetes Day through sensitization and health fitness exercises.
We know that diabetes now is almost an epidemic at our doorstep, because in every family you find one person or the other, either the parent or a sibling that is diabetic, and it has been rising at an alarming rate in the country. And there is need to create more awareness, because with diabetes awareness and education, it will be easier for everybody to manage diabetes if you are already one, or to prevent from becoming one in future.
Recently we did Know Your Numbers, 10 million, and Know Your Numbers is the blood sugar and the blood pressure. So government is concerned, that's why it wants to establish the database so that there will be a policy and a plan to have a register of diabetic people living with diabetes in Nigeria so that we cater for them.
Concerned persons, people living with diabetes and beneficiaries praise the initiative.
Diabetes is killing people more than even malaria and other diseases combined.
The theme of this year is talking about the well-being of people living with diabetes, and we want to see how we can provide care, giving them a physical care, mental care, emotional care.
The theme for this year underscores the serious practical steps to mitigate the ailment, especially with global focus this Thursday with the commemoration of World Diabetes Day. Rosemary Moltelen Bilal, NTA News.
The Interministerial and Interagency Awareness Summit on the Discrimination Against Persons with Disabilities Prohibition Act 2018 convened to tackle lingering issues surrounding disability discrimination in Nigeria. Gufan Shaji Ugwani reports that key stakeholders discussed strategies for effective implementation.
The Interministerial and Interagency Awareness Summit on the Discrimination Against Persons with Disabilities Prohibition Act 2018 focused on key areas of reform. Disaggregate data. The discussions centered on the urgent need for accessible physical structures, equal employment opportunities, and inclusive education.
The Office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Special Need and Equal Opportunity, in collaboration with the National Commission for Persons with Disability, will closely monitor the implementation of the Act across all MDS. We will issue quarterly press statement on each MDS compliance status and submit this report directly to Mr. President. through the constituted channels. His Excellency the President has expressed his commitment to hold accountable any MDA that fails to meet these standards.
We need to move faster in the area of accessibility. We need to move faster even as an organization. The Act already said that 5% of employment should be given to persons with disabilities.
The last thing I'd like to speak to is about partnership, because one person can't exactly tackle this. One organization cannot tackle this. We need each other. And it's not about blaming each other. It's about saying, what can we do more together?
The summit sought to foster interagency collaboration, ensuring a unified and effective implementation of the Act's provision to protect the rights of persons with disabilities. In Abuja, Gufan Shaji Ugwanyi, Nta News.
And now sports. Super Eagles have qualified for next year's Africa Cup of Nations in Morocco, following a 1-1 draw with the Cheetahs of Benin Republic in Abidjan on Thursday night. The Super Eagles, who needed at least a draw to guarantee qualification, trailed behind in the first half, following a quick-fire goal through Mohamed Tijani. But after being pegged back for a large part of the game, it was star talisman Victor Osimhen who turned hero of the day as he pulled the Eagles leveled in the 8 first minutes. The Eagles sit top of Group D with 10 points and will face the Amavubi of Rwanda in their next fixture on November 18. And that concludes the news at 11 on Nta News 24. Thanks for watching. I am Ogoch Kuka. Ona.